Golly, really? This is Miami for you, okay? Very rude, very disrespectful in Brickell, Miami. And I wanted to do a video about moving to Miami. You know, I think it's very important. I see a lot of people move to Miami and they don't make it. You know, they here for a little while and end up, having to move back to their hometown or something like that. So, let me give you some tips and some pointers. But most importantly, let me let you know what you're getting into before you move to Miami. I think that's very important. It's one thing to visit, it's another thing to live down here. So let's get right into the video. The number one thing you must know before you move to Miami is that Miami is extremely expensive. It's like New York, New York, Miami. When we're talking about rent and stuff like that, right now in 2022, and this video is, current, so it's at the end of 2022, going into 2023. Rent down here is upwards of $2,500 a month for a studio. So, and I've been out here for 1 year so far doing business. People rent that I know that I've associated with say their rent has went from, let's just say, $2,500 to $3,000 when their lease was renewed. So that's $500 increase on the rent, just out the blue. So, you need to really think about that before you decide to move down here and get into, some type of lease or something like that, and you can't get out of it. Food is extremely expensive down here, and I'm talking restaurants. So don't be surprised if you take somebody out to eat and the bill is $300. Don't be surprised if you go out to eat by yourself and the bill is $150. A lunch, just grabbing lunch to go, they won't tip. They want you to tip for that. It's already gratuity, 18% on a lot of the restaurants when you go and get some food. Take out, for one person, you're gonna spend at least $30 on some food. That's just on some regular food, especially anything that is worth your time. And still got McDonald's and Burger King and stuff like that, but I don't eat that type of stuff, and I'm sure a lot of people is passing on that. But if you're into healthy food other than Chipotle or something like that, then it's going to be expensive. So rent is expensive. Gas down here is still up, and that's going to go up even more with the whole situation with the East and all that. So you want to consider that. You want to consider maintenance on your car, because I'm gonna get into the traffic and everything. You're gonna need some new brakes. You're gonna need some. You may get in an accident, and I'm gonna get into the traffic and everything. But yeah, it's extremely expensive in Miami to live. Now you can budget, you can do some things and finagle some things, but I mean, you're gonna see people living that life. You're gonna see people driving, supercars. You're gonna see people eating good, living good, with the best, women and all that. But yeah, it's gonna cost you. It's gonna be expensive. Clothes, you see people wearing the best clothes. The high price shoes. I'm talking the $600 and up, $1,000 shoes. So if you're coming from a place that they not really moving like that, then it's gonna be a sticker shocker for you. This is gonna be one that's gonna kind of blow your wig back, because it's expensive down here. I think food and clothing and rent, those three things combined is probably some of the highest costs. So just think about that before you make sure you got your money up. Especially if you want to go out and party like that, it's $50 to $100 to get in some of these places. Drinks, you go have some drinks, you're gonna pay at least $20 for a drink. Drinks $20, and that's for something simple, and they expect their pay. Then when you go to these restaurants, gratuity already included, plus they want you to tip, okay? So, a lot of times when you're at these restaurants, they just bring you a receipt with no type of list of what you bought or what you ordered. It's just straight to total, $167, and then they still want you to tip on top of that, and the gratuity is already in there. So if you're not really used to that lifestyle, which I wasn't used to that lifestyle, I didn't really know how gratuity works. I mean, I've seen it before in some vacation places, but when you come here, it's everywhere. Everybody got gratuity, even on the takeout. You know, it's gratuity on the takeout, you know, so, and then they'll kind of get mad at you or have some type of attitude if you're not tipping like that, because you got the ballers or the people that really have that money. They come through and they'll spend that money, you know, and kind of, you know, that's what's expected, you know. So just be mindful of when you come down here, you're gonna need the tip. You know, you're gonna need to spend that money like that. Number two, when you move to, if you're thinking about moving to Miami, Florida, be prepared for erratic, unreasonable drivers. You know, the people, every morning when I leave my apartment and I drive to work, I you know, it's almost, I gotta cuss at somebody. It's crazy. Like, I've never been anywhere where I'm talking about someone would actually just make a full turn in the middle of the street. Like, just do a U-turn right in the middle of a major street. The Ubers would just stop right in front of you. I'm talking about on a major street. They would just stop and let people out in the middle of the street. You know, honking a horn, that's one thing that has really worked on my mind down here. You know, if you're not used to people honking horns at you, especially if they see you with like plates that's from out of state, they're gonna, you know, they're gonna blow their horn at you. And I'm talking about the light could just turn green. You don't even get a chance to put your foot on the gas before you hear aggressively, you know, people honking their horn aggressively. So it's crazy like that. I never seen nothing like that in my life. So please be on the lookout for that, because, you know, if you somebody that got a low tolerance when it comes to traffic and you can't really do well traffic and you have road rage, then you probably don't want to move down here, because what I'm telling you is people will just turn right in front of you. People will cut in, and you could be going, you know, 30 miles an hour. Somebody just will cut in front of you, just will try to crash your car, you know, and it's crazy. You're like, man, what is going on down here? You know, so I kind of tried to make some sense out of this and try to realize that people are coming from different countries that drive erratically and do whatever they want to do on the road. Because if I'm in a turning lane over here on the left-hand side and there's 3 rows of cars, why is somebody making a right-hand turn in front of all the cars? Actually making a right-hand turn in front of every car, all, you know, going in a total different direction. I don't, like, help me with that. You know, like that just don't make, how you gonna force your way in front of me? Like, this is happening every single day. Somebody is trying to turn in front of me, trying to, you know, how can you make a U-turn in the middle of the street? Just when traffic is coming, you just stop your car and make a U-turn. Like, it really is agitating and irritating, and if you're not used to that type of, you know, situation, then I wouldn't suggest that you move down here on that. You know what I mean? So traffic is number 2. It's crazy. And then when the high season comes, it get even crazier, because people want to, you know, just act like you is just the worst driver in the world because you got out-of-state plates. So, you know, be mindful of that. If you can't handle the blowing, the honking the horn, people driving aggressively around you, people, you know, just acting ignorant, you know, then don't move down here. Number 3, the third reason why you need to really think first before you move to Miami is the people. So you must understand that Miami is like 90% Latin based. Well, I wouldn't say 80% Latin based. That means people from all different countries in you know, in South America, you know. But you also got people from other countries like, you know, Europe and stuff like that live here too. But the majority of the people that's living in Miami, that's from Miami, that, you know, you got Cubans, you got South Americans, you got Mexicans, you got Brazilians. I mean, I can go on and on. Haitians, you know, Puerto Ricans. I mean, I can go on and on about the different cultures here. But, you know, you're gonna need to know some type of Spanish. The reason why I say that and I'm trying to learn Spanish now, I'm a little late. But the reason why I say this is because I've never been to a city in America where you can go somewhere and at least, let's just say 4 or 5 out of the 10 people you engage with does not speak English. You know what I mean? So, you know, I do business down here. I'm a jeweler here at the James Mack store for the time being. And people come into my store all the time and know how to speak English. I went somewhere just the other day to get something to eat, and nobody in the restaurant knew how to speak English. One person could kind of speak English, but nobody could really speak English that well. So, you know, that's something you gotta really understand, you know, and be able to deal with. You probably need to tighten up on your Spanish before you come to Miami, because it's a serious thing. I've heard people say before that, you know, you don't need to know none, and now you most definitely need to know some Spanish. Another thing with the people have really bad attitudes down here. I don't know what it is, and it feels a little racist. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, you got the Cubans, you got the Colombians, you got, you know, the Mexicans, you got all these different people, you got the Haitians, you got all these different people. But I think when it comes to, if you're African American, it's just going out to you if you're African American. If you're African American, it's a little, I want to say, you're gonna feel a little segregated against, you know what I mean? Because you're gonna go places where, you know, 90% of the place you're gonna go, it ain't no rap music. It's not a lot of black people, unless you go on South Beach, and we'll get into that. So if you wanna, you know, go somewhere nice and, you know, have some dinner, then it's other cultures, so you're gonna kind of feel at points. You're gonna kind of, and this if you live here on a regular basis, not if you just come for spring break or something like that. But if you live here on a regular basis, you're gonna kind of feel alienated at times, because you're not, unless you're way out west. But if you're downtown Miami, Brickell, Miami, Midtown Miami, North Miami, if you're in these different places, then it, you know, it's kind of, you know, you get the feeling like, man, it's bigger than, you know what I mean, black people. So if you're, and this just speaking to the African Americans, if you're African American, just know that, you know, it's you know, there's been some things that didn't happen in the past that kind of made it a bad name for black people. So you must know that it's not 100% welcoming to you. You know, you can come and do your thing, but don't expect for the red carpet to be rolled out for you. People, you know, when you go to these restaurants, they're looking at you like you cheap, that like you're about to run off with, you know, and people have done it, you know, especially on these spring break times. People come and do stuff like that and don't pay their bill. So they done put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth about black people. And then you got a lot of violence, you know, towards the west side, you know, where a lot of black people live, Miami Gardens and stuff like that. You know, it could get a little wild over there, even though it's people who still trying to do their thing. Don't get me wrong, and I big ups to everybody over there that's really trying to make, you know, make the best out of the situation. And there's a lot of gentrification that's going on as well. So, you know, that's just something you got to deal with. That's just part of the business. You know, I'm just letting you know what to expect with the people. Also, it's a lot of scams going on in Miami. So if you're not familiar with, you know, housing and rentals and you know, even stuff like fake doctors, you know, women wanting to get their bodies done, you really need to check into that stuff, you know, because there's a lot of fake doctors, people pretending like they're certified, pretending like they're official, a lot of credit card scams. You got to be careful with your credit card, giving it to people. I probably use my Cash App card a lot. A lot of those different type of techniques that you got to really kind of get before you come down here, you know, giving people your whole name and your address, your phone number, and all that type of personal information. Then somebody will have an account in your name in no time. So you really gotta be cool and careful with that. You know, don't just go out here giving all your information to folks, because they'll ask for your information. So you gotta kind of be careful with that, and just be a little bit more diligent when, you know, you're you know, getting into situations like that. The next thing I want to talk about is the weather. Now, if you're coming from a colder climate, you must know that Miami is a tropical climate. The humidity, the weather is hot, it's sticky. It's November right now, and I'm outside right now, and I'm sweating a little bit. I'm moist. It's hot. You know, it's hot right now. It's November, and it's probably cold in a lot of northern places, but right now, November, it is hot to me. And it was, you know, I was trying to find some shade earlier when I was moving around doing some stuff for the business. I was, you know, down here you learn how to walk. You learn how to find some shade. Like, you got to find some shade because, listen, that sun is crazy, you know, and it gets really hot. And if you like to dress up, put your suits on and stuff like that, you better invest in some linen because you're gonna be sweating. And that's a fact. Your body does acclimate to the environment, but it don't matter. If you outside and you get to getting active, you're gonna start sweating, and that's a fact. So I just wanted you to keep that in mind. Miami is a hot place. It will rain out of nowhere. It does rain all the time. It's a lot of mosquitoes down here. They will eat you alive if you're not in the right environment. Next to water somewhere, they will tear you up and you won't really know you're torn up until the next day. You'll be scratching all over, having sores all on your legs and stuff like that. So you must know that it definitely, most definitely is a lot of mosquitoes. It most definitely is hot. It'll probably get a little cooler around January, February, but right now it's November, it's hot. December gonna be warm. So, you know, those are some things you must keep in mind. The one hurricane, we got a little scared. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't too bad, you know, but it did get a little wild, you know, with the storm flooding. Man, yeah. So I'm gonna lump that right into weather. Flooding in Miami is crazy, man. You know, it could rain for, let's just say, rain for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes straight, and it will be complete rivers out here. Like, the whole street will just be straight flooded all the way over your car or something. You know, depending on what area you in. You know, especially Brickell, downtown, North Miami, some parts of Miami Beach, man. It will get flooded quick, and you know, your whole car will be destroyed trying to ride through some of these lakes and rivers that you know, the water accumulate in. I never seen anything like it before in my life. You know, so best believe that when it started raining, you gotta know that it will, you understand me, it will start to flood very quickly. So, you know, be aware about that. What else can I say about the weather? You know, it's good weather, it's hot. But if you don't like hot weather, if you're not used to it being humid and stuff like that, then this probably not the place for you. You know, if you don't like mosquitoes, you know, if you don't like iguanas and little lizards running all over the place, then you probably don't want to move to Miami. I'm just saying, like, them things you have to, you know, I haven't seen any snakes or anything like that, but definitely iguanas and little lizards all over the place, roaches, yeah, all that, big roaches too. So if you don't like big roaches, they may not be in your house or anything, but they're around. You can believe that. Next thing I want to talk about, you know, and I think this is, you know, this can be said, you know, for the fellas out there. Fellas, dating in Miami. One thing you need to know about Miami is the women that's from Miami and from these different countries. They are trying to get paid, bro. They're trying to get paid. You know, they're trying to get money because they see money. They see people riding on yachts and everything. They see people doing their thing, and they want a piece of that, bro. And you have a lot of sugar daddies down here, a lot of guys that's spending money, and, you know, they buying women all type of stuff. I have a jewelry store. I see it all the time. Men come in, you know, spending easily $1,000 on a woman, no problem. You know, just straight. So they messed up the game down here. You know, so if you're not looking like some money, if you don't have some money, you can have good game, you can have awesome spit, you know, you can have awesome literature and really know how to get women, but you're not gonna keep them very long. Maybe not the caliber of the women that you want to get, because the women down here, especially the ones from like Colombia and Cuba and stuff like that, and these different places, man, they invest in their body. They invest in their features, you know, with the lips and everything, and you know, all the Botox and stuff like that. So, you know, they want their money back, you know. So if you know, you gotta have a specific target, you know, a specific model that you're looking for, because if you don't, bro, you're gonna be all over the place spending so much money and taking a woman out to dinner. Like I just told you about how much it costs just for you to go out, bro. You're gonna easily spend $150, $200 just on drinks and dinner. You know what I mean? And how many times can you do that and they don't even like you? You don't even know if they like you. You know, brothers, I'm not throwing no shade to my people, black African-American men, but I don't think personally, Latin, not all Latin women, but particular Latin women, especially from like Colombia and stuff like that, they don't even really kind of like much mess with black men down here. Like I told you in the previous tip, there's kind of been a little bad reputation on black brothers out here, just because due to some of the crime and stuff like that and some of the things that went on, you know, they kind of stick to their own now. And I've talked to Latin women, they say they really kind of just look for, you know, Latin men, you know what I mean? So I've noticed how, I've done some study and some research, and I've noticed how Latin women, you know, even me personally, and I think I look pretty decent, and I'm fit, and I got, you know, some little, you know, little money. I'm not rich by any means yet, but you know, man, they look the other way, bro. They're looking the other way. Like I say hi, they hi, and keep it moving. So, but you know, I'm not really pursuing anything like intentionally. I'm not really going after anything. But it's like I could tell, like that's not really the, you know what I mean? That's not really the focus. Black men ain't really the focus. You know what I mean? White men is on, you know, they the target. You know, white men is the target. No matter how they look, they really, that's the target. You know what I mean? So, you know, from my perspective, you know, and I rotate in the Brickell area. I rotate downtown. I rotate North Miami, somewhat Aventura. That's kind of my lane. I don't do too much out west. You know, Liberty City, Miami Gardens. That ain't really my lane. You know, I go out there, but I'm really over here by the water. Sometimes rotate on Miami Beach, but it's a lot of characters over there, so I don't really do too much over there. I ride through every now and then. So that's kind of like what's going on with the women, you know. There's some beautiful sisters down here. There's some beautiful women down here. But, you know, you gotta have yourself together, you know. But, I mean, you know, it's always gonna be a woman out there for you, don't get me wrong. You know, I met some beautiful women, they just wasn't for me, you know, and what I'm trying to do. So, you know, keep that in mind. You know, you want to have some focus. You want to know where you're going with it, because if you don't, man, they will have you all over the place, man. They will have you trying to figure out who you are. You feel what I'm saying? And your pockets will be shorter, trying to, you know, appease and talk to all these different women, take them out and all that, because they gonna go out with you. But is it going anywhere? You know, that's the thing. Is it going anywhere? I'm gonna wrap this little video up, you know, and I just want to give you tips, but I'm gonna just talk about, last but not least, you know, Miami Beach, you know what I mean, and what's going on over there. Miami Beach got a lot of characters, man. And speaking of characters, I'm gonna just add this in here, and I'm not talking about no specific people, no specific person. This is just in general. Miami got a lot of cap, man. You got a lot of fakers, a lot of pretenders, bro. A lot of people that was just make up their whole career. You know, I met people from all different genres that just turn into these super successful individuals, you know, almost overnight. And you like, man, like, where did, you know, how did you get started? You know, and then that's where it get a little fuzzy, you know, and that's where people start kind of like not really wanting to get into that, but they present themselves as promoters and YouTubers and doctors and lawyers and, you know, bankers and real estate agents and all this different stuff, you know, and, you know, business people and marketing specialists and consultants and all these different things. And a lot of times they're not even nowhere near living the life that they seen, you know. And the bigger the prank is, like, you know, you see them rolling up in these cars and stuff like that, man, that stuff is not all of it, because there's a lot of money in Miami. It's a lot of millionaires, a lot of everything, and you don't know who a millionaire or not. But when you do your research, you can kind of tell, like, especially if they ain't got no real formal education, if it ain't no real, you know, no real degrees behind their name, then they'll start leaning over to the influencer side. And when they start leaning over to the influencer and all that type of stuff, man, that, you know, that a lot of cap come in with that. You know, even fake doctors doing the surgeries, fake lawyers taking people to actually going to court with people and never had a license. You know, fake, you know, people giving you fake jewelers, fake everything. So, you know, Miami is a real real kind of fake city. You know, a lot of fake teeth, a lot of fake breasts, butts, like all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? You know, you're gonna get into that. You know, but you know that don't mean that is a bad thing. But it's just saying, like, you know, that's part of living in Miami. That's part of the game. You know, and some of it forces you to step your game up. So if you ain't got your game stepped up and you come down here and you know, you realizing that, you know, you out of shape and you ain't got yourself together, well, what I can't tell you is people down here exercising, getting themselves together, you know, trying to look their best. So, you know, a lot of women, when you come down here and you think you're on top of your game and you get down here and you see people fit and ready and you know, got themselves together, skin popping and all that, then you got to get yourself together. So I would probably get myself together before I move down here, because you're not going to feel comfortable at them pool parties and that, you know, going out and stuff like that, and you know, you out of shape and stuff like that. So, you know, you really want to, you know, think about that before you get down here and really consider that.